morning. I'm speaking to you from Vaidyagrama in the southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu, where in December of 2015 a conference will be held that will focus on Ayurveda specifically from the perspective of Jyotisha, the Indian science of divination. Jyotisha has always been a subject that has been associated with Ayurveda, at least until the very recent past, when a stronger focus on modern science and quote-unquote rationalization has made many people come to the conclusion that Jyotish has nothing to offer modern medicine in general and Ayurveda in particular. We, however, believe differently, and it is because of that this conference has been organized. In one sense, it will be a conventional conference. There will be speakers, people will come together and meet, and subjects will be discussed. In another sense, it will be something much more than a conference. It will be what we call in Sanskrit an upaya, an attempt to create an improvement in the participants, in the place where the conference is held, and in the world in general, by working with forces, archetypal forces, that are not commonly addressed in medical systems of any kind, and particularly nowadays in Ayurveda. So working with these archetypes and working with what we would call from the Ayurvedic point of view, Sattva Vijaya and Daiva Vyapashraya Chikitsa, our intention is to explore what these subjects are, how the participants can employ these subjects in useful ways for themselves and for their patients and the clients and the people that they work with, their families. But in addition, how that a positive relationship can be generated between the participants and these archetypal forces, and how those relationships can be promoted, and how those relationships themselves can facilitate an improvement in the quality of life of themselves and of everyone around them. Ayurveda, after all, is literally Ayuhu Veda. That means the science of life. Everything that has to do with embodied life on the planet has to do with Ayurveda. From the perspective of physiological health, we find it very useful to use Ayurvedic language, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, Ojas, Tejas, and Prana. This is extremely utilitarian when it comes to understanding Yukti, Vyapashraya Chikitsa, and the Stula Sharira, the physical body. But when it comes to understanding things beyond the physical body, which are still very much part of embodied life, the Ayurvedic language, which is very useful and very specific when it comes to physiology, is less utilitarian. It is for this purpose that for the past many thousands of years here in India, Jyotisha, the language of Jyotisha, has been employed to understand the forces at work and to try to bring these forces, to understand ways to bring these forces into better alignment, to improve the quality of sukha, of the good spaces that we inhabit and wish to inhabit. So, in the same way that Ayurveda is itself a language, like Sanskrit is a language, like music or dance or languages, Jyotisha is also a language. And it is my personal conviction, and the conviction of those who are organizing the conference, that someone who is interested in the Ayurvedic language is only getting a very limited perspective on life if they are not also at least familiarizing themselves with the Jyotishical language. In saying this, let me emphasize that this has nothing to do with buying expensive gemstones and doing complicated and expensive pujas to try to make the planets and the grahas happy with one another. This is much more fundamental than that, an understanding of what are the basic, these 9 grahas, which are the basic parts of grammar of the Jyotishical language, and the Rashis or constellations, and the Bhavas or houses, and how all of these combine together, how we can understand their combinations, and how we can appreciate this map of reality, because that's what Jyotisha is. It's a method for creating maps of reality in the same way that understanding the nadis in the body or the srotamsi in the body are maps of understanding bodily reality. Jyotish is a way of understanding non-bodily reality, but also these realities that are strongly influencing the organism. Since I believe that most students of Ayurveda are familiar with the concept of prajñāpara, the crimes against the natural wisdom of the organism, I would like to go further to suggest that, in fact, the real reason for prajñāpara is upada, allurement, being attracted by things that bring one away from one's center. When you are healthy, you are well-centered, as Sushruta defined, samadosha, samagnischa, samadhatu malikriyaha, prasanna atmendriya manaha, swastyam ityabhidiyate. Health means swastya. That means swasta, being well-established, sta, within yourself, swa. If you are allured by something, whether it is alcohol or money or the opposite sex, whatever it might be, that drags you away from your center, drags you away from your health. Unless you understand how to address that allurement, no amount of dashamula kvata or abhyanga is going to bring you back into a state of really serious health. So this conference is interested in trying to understand the mula, the root of the real causes of diseases that afflict embodied beings, and what we can do to pull the disease up by the root, eliminate it from the organism altogether. It is my sincere hope that anyone who is genuinely interested in Ayurveda will consider attending this conference and participating with us as we work together to establish a sustainable and healthy relationship with the 9 grahas. Thank you.